a Korean-made map, and the map is pronounced Estige.
If it's a Korean-made map, you can pronounce it whatever you want.
I just use the correct pronunciation. That's all I know.
By the way, we are going to talk about pronunciation in just a second, but first of all, let's introduce our players. At the bottom right, we have, starting for Fnatic once again, our Terran player, losing game 2 on Antigua Shipyard. It is Alive. He changed his hair color again. I'm sorry that I have to point it out, not you. But I really told him like 20 times, you actually look good with this orange hair that you had. And he's always like, no. But everyone agreed with me, except for you, maybe.
No, I agree, actually.
Okay. So, yeah, everyone agreed with me because this black hair just makes him look like every other Korean. And now he changed it a little bit. He found a middle ground. Top left, we have his opponent. This is Casper Protoss. It is flying, winning on Antigua Shipyard. There we have him. Yeah, but talking about the pronunciation, because I had the same discussion with Nick and Dan, actually, and with you at some point already, but I want to point it out again. There are... Oh, 11.
11-11.
11-11, so we have a very aggressive start by Alive again. You Americans, you try to assimilate everything. It is unbelievable. Stefano wins a tournament and everybody chants USA, USA. The same is true when we were at WCS. Sen wins and everybody chants USA. And then Nick and Dan tell me, yeah, Adidas. No, it's not pronounced Adidas. It's Adidas and it's American. No, it's not. It's German and it's still Adidas. There you go.
Well,
laying down the law.
I'm like, I gotta change my passport so I don't get associated with these people that said things that I didn't say. Like, Flying actually is gonna get the scout off here, but he doesn't know. Now he knows. Now he sees the orbital being morphed. He definitely knows that there's a proxy out there. He starts the Zealot immediately. He knows he can't skip it.
Did you guys realize how smart Wolf is? He didn't even comment on that. He just smoothed it over and is like, okay, back to StarCraft. But you're right. Double 11 here for Alive, and I have to admit that I didn't expect him to go for such an aggressive strategy. I could see it happening on Antigua Shipyard, and we talked about what he did in the past against the Nexus first play, before he actually threw down these additional barracks. But now he plays it really aggressive, and Flying is definitely in a position where he has to have the perfect micro to make sure that Alive is not taking him out right now.
Oh wow, that first Marine almost went down there. That Zealot chasing him and the SCV shielding him with his back. That was a pretty sick move. That SCV wants to take a bullet for his friend. The only thing is that Zealots don't have bullets, so he took a blade for his friend and still survived.
That probe was actually awesome. Did you see that? Probe moved to the top, sees all those Marines and the SCV moving downwards, and he's like, yikes, and immediately heads back and is like, oh my god, I have to gun away.
Almost as cool as the probe that was zapping away at that depot earlier. Look at this micro by Flying, using the Zealot to tank just a little bit and poking away at these Marines, trying to damage them as far away from home as possible. He needs to add an additional gateway, though, I feel here.
Yeah, and Alive is in a position right now. Did he just kill that Stalker? Did I see this correctly? No.
No, that was an SCV dying. Unless if you're talking about sound effect.
No, it wasn't about the sound effect. I actually thought that he moved the Stalker right into the Marines, but apparently he really saw what was going on. And Alive, he decided to not go for an SCV pull here and go for a massive attack. At this point, he's like, okay, well, this doesn't really work like I wanted to. I put on a lot of aggression, but I didn't do as much damage as I hoped I would. So now he heads back with those two barracks. He starts with his first bunker and wants to secure himself a second base. Flying, on the other hand, with the additional gateways, needs to make a decision, either going for a counter-attack or into an expansion and prepare for the late game.
Yeah, Flying is... He's making these gates, and I like this because this is a moment where Alive becomes vulnerable, because he did have to lift his barracks, which were, by the way, so far forward. And he knows how far forward they are. Even without seeing them, he could have known, because the reinforcements are so quick. So now he's like, okay, you're going to lose a lot of production. I'm checking for those barracks on the map on my way back to see if they're still there. Okay, they're not. So that means you have basically no Marines to defend. He has got 5 right now. And this is going to be a very dangerous attack. Flying does make a Nexus. This is not all in, but this is definitely going to do a little bit of damage to Alive. Second bunker is almost complete, though. He needs to go in right now.
We currently have Nexus being built, but yeah, you talked about the bunker, and the bunker is nearly completed, so these units for Flying are not going to do too much damage if Alive is paying attention and pulling the SCVs. If Flying decides to be aggressive and warp in another round of units to attack, then he needs to repair, of course. But if he does, he'll be fine here.
Yeah, and the second bunker finishing is exactly why he decides not to fight. He says, no,
Gets
pick off this SCV. And he's already done the damage by forcing the bunker in the first place.
Yeah, he gets the Forge now and one set into upgrades. Alive with the first gas that he now has. Starts, of course, with his reactor, with his tech lab at the barracks. And he doesn't have any tech at all, any tech whatsoever. We don't see a factory just yet. And ooh, wow, flying with a small misstep here. Not paying attention to the minimap and losing a Stalker.
Yeah, that was a painful loss to lose that Stalker like that. Especially when we're so low in units here. And with losing the pylon as well, he's supply blocked. Just temporarily. This is kind of an interesting Forge, because he's got a Forge with no tech. Like, no Robo, no Twilight Council, just +1 coming out here. So he's going to need to start teching up a little bit. With a Robo at the very least.
Yeah, if you get the +1 attack armor upgrade, you of course want to play a little bit more gateway heavy, and this is exactly what he does so far. But you are right, he needs some kind of tech, and there's the choice. He's going for the Twilight Council. To be honest with you, I expect a Robo.
Yeah,
I mean, with the Twilight Council, he can head in the second wave of upgrades. He has quite a few options here, but I certainly thought he would go for robotics.
I think the reason why he goes for Twilight here is because he knows that Stim is going to be out pretty soon for Alive, and if he goes Robo, he's not going to have because he went for the fast Forge, he's not going to have the Colossi out fast enough, so defensively, the Robo just does not feel very helpful, whereas Charge does. I think that's the reason why. He may also go into DTs here. It's entirely possible. I don't think so, though. But it is a choice he could make.
The Twilight Council is ready. He didn't do anything with it so far. He's still occupied in the middle of the map where his forces are chasing down the Terran players' Marines. Alive is on the retreat here and losing quite a lot of units. This is brilliant by flying here. He does a lot of damage to the Fnatic player.
Backstab force, though, on the way. This is very Alive-like.
And this is exactly what he needs.
Oh, this is not the place to warp in those units. Well, he actually didn't target those down, but now he does.
Yeah,
really
but
nice
maybe a little bit too late. The micro flying was certainly a bit better in this situation. He needs to focus a few probes, I feel. Taking down only one Zealot and one Stalker, that's not enough. He could have done so much more with his force.
Yeah. Flying did walk back, though, with his army. Kind of relinquishing his presence on the map. And here's +2 in charge, coming out with that Twilight Council. So, just more or less a safe way to finish things up here. We have seen players go for big 6 gateway or 7 gateway attacks with +2 armor and charge with Guardian Shield because you have so much armor against the Terran army. We're actually seeing 2 additional gates go up right now. He may do just that, though. In fact, the 3rd additional gate goes down. And yeah, he's going up to 7 gates, so he's just going to do this Charge Zealot attack with Archons, Sentries for Force Fields and Guardian Shield and +2 armor.
You know what I have to say about Belgian Vestige? A few people said that it looks a little bit like Daybreak when it's turned. From the minimap, if you just look at how this game progresses, it looks like Ohana.
Yeah, it does kind of look like Ohana. If you look at kind of little arms that stick out, it reminds me of Whirlwind a little bit as well.
That's the same tile set, but yeah. With the expansions that you have, it's very similar, I feel. More to Ohana than to Daybreak. The pylon to the right side, as you saw, was spotted, so with Alive now really trying to scout all these forward pylons, he's doing a great job of shutting them down and making sure that it's very difficult for Flying to send in Zealots to attack the base. He definitely... I want to say he learned a lesson from the Cloud Kingdom game, but on the other hand, it's not really the correct term because he didn't suffer that much from the warp-ins that Flying used on the first map. But Alive is definitely covering his bases here. He knows that this is one of the tools that Flying likes, that he used in the earlier game, so he definitely tries to make sure that it's going to be a little bit tougher for Flying to execute it.
Flying shows charge, and he also has shown the pylon in the which indicates a nexus, and he's really making it right now. The composition he's built is really strange, though, if he wants to play a late game, especially with all the gateways he powered up he can't really use just yet. He starts +1, and doesn't have a second Forge just yet. He's making a ton of Templar. This style that we're seeing is very unique and usually very aggressive.
And talking about aggressive, this drop is very, very strong. There are a lot of Marauders in here, and this one High Templar doesn't stand a chance. A great attack here by Alive. He can do a lot of damage. He could unpower all these gates if he wanted to, and he sends another force now over to the Natural, where he could pick up 2 High Templars.
Yeah, this positioning of that army is incredible as well, and now Alive is going to the Natural. Flying pulled way too many units in the main. Now he's totally exposed. 2 Templar dies and lose a pylon here as well. Maybe even a second one and then get out.
Supply blocking his opponent. Now Stada stepping away a little bit. Could take out the Archon here.
Yeah, that was a bit sloppy there.
But in the main phase, Wolfie is once again dropping, but has to retreat as flying warped in Zealots.
Yeah, you know, the multi-pronged harassment is so difficult to micro, but Alive wanted to get that Archon, then he lost so many of his units on the way back there, so it made it less worth it in the end. But I think that even so, Flying is still in a position where he's got to get that tech out for his Templar. He needs to get Storms, because if he doesn't have that, he's going to be in a position where he's sacrificed a lot of time and resources into these Zealots that are heavily armor upgraded that he can't really attack with on this map anymore because the map is so big. And Alive can actually easily mine from that third base, catch up in upgrades at this point, and start adding additional barracks.
At the bottom left, I think we have an observer just scouting, and it doesn't really look like we have a unit attacking at the bottom. I don't know for sure. No, there's actually a Zealot, but yeah, we have 2 Marauders, and they make sure that there's not a lot of damage done. Storm has been started.
Oh, well, this is a great catch by Flying. A big coincidence here. He spots this.
Yeah.
And, oh, the medevac that has the units in it is the lowest one!
Oh my god,
wow.
He blocked the Stalker by accident. Well, not really by accident, but just how the unit pathing worked. The Archon was in the way, so the Stalker couldn't get close enough for the deadly shot.
Yeah,
definitely.
5 hit points left on that medevac.
Yeah, quite lucky for that guy. Not only for the medevac, but also for the Marines and Marauder inside.
Uh-oh, these depots may never finish. Yeah, that Zealot runs all the way around. Reminds me of those old penguin slide things that you could have. You know this thing where you have this penguin, or it varies on which toy you have, but it goes down a slide, and then it goes up this escalator.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what this charge Zealots remind me of, things going down the slide when they run sometimes. Oh, this is so deadly, potentially, to Alive. His army, though, is in a
nice
good concave.
flank.
Yeah.
That's a really good flank that he has here. Really exposed, especially the High Templars, but he needs to split his army a little bit better. He really catches a lot of damage with his Storm. Well done by Flying, but Alive is now in a spot where he can take down the Archon and hand down these additional High Templars. Alive in a situation where he needs to be careful, but he could potentially take down this army. He needs to stutter step away from the charging Zealots, though.
Yeah, the Zealots have so much armor here, but at the same time, they're not that beefy on attack because +2 has not finished yet. If the fight goes a little bit longer, it would finish, but it looks like Alive will actually clean up these Zealots with the healing from the medevacs now.
Yeah, he has to stim again, and all these units are so low in HP. At the bottom left, we still have a few Protoss units trying to do damage, taking down supply depot after supply depot, and Alive is losing a significant amount of harvesters here.
Yeah. In fact, he's lost 21 in total so far. Another warp in of units, 4 gates going up, 4 flying, and his +2 finishes now. He's going to want to start +3 ASAP because he has the resources for it. He's not doing it just yet. That's so important for him to get that +3 out because that's going to allow him to tear through Alive. Alive is at 1-1 right now. 2-2 has not even started yet. He's got the resources, but I'm starting to wonder if he even has the armory.
This is pretty crazy. This is a back and forth game, but Flying is taking a lead, and yes, the armory is there, but it's not being used yet.
Oh,
and
wow,
now
and that Storm.
We have the Storm again. Yes, these are going down. He needs to lift the command center if he wants to save it. Oh my god, no.
He lost it. I can't believe it. Alive is falling apart a little bit here.
That was horrible for him. Now he is down to 2 bases. It was really bad at this point. He saw it a second too late, tries to lift it, but the Zealots, they take it down, and now suddenly, Flying an amazing lead.
Yeah, Flying is basically right now about to sign the order for the name change of Alive to Dead. And Alive is going for one last-ditch effort push here to try to put Flying's army out of position. Coming up here to the top right, there are a lot of EMPs available. How will he utilize them? He wants to go for the Nexus, but will he actually be able to get in here and take it out? He's going to have to trade his whole army if he really wants it. The medevac even going down there, and here comes Flying's army, but he's not in a good position with the Zealots.
Yeah, we have currently Alive in a good spot here behind the mineral patches, and with the option of
Elevator
dropping into his opponent's main base. Yeah, thank you very much. My brain is still in Shanghai.
Yeah, mine too. It's being shipped back right now. Pretty cheap cost. In fact, now he starts the Stargate.
That's not a lot of ship. You kind of ran into that one.
Yeah. Well, anyway. I was trying to make a joke about him making the Stargate to make one Phoenix to catch those medevacs, but in reality, the medevacs actually escape somehow. How does he do it? No, seriously, how did he do that? How did he know that was the way to come through there?
No idea. But it doesn't really matter how he did it. In the end, he did it.
Yeah.
Will it save him, though?
Alive needs to reunite these two forces. He needs to drop these units out right now. Oh, this is a tense moment, but Flying, I think, just has too much. The army supply, in fact, for these two players, though, is so close together. It's all about the deficit in workers and economy right now.
Alive has to attack. He needs to do the damage now. Nice. Great stuff, but he needs an EMP.
Yeah, a storm would be great for Flying as well, though.
Just think about it. If an EMP hits those High Templars, how well Alive could engage in this battle. He wouldn't have need to.
This is so stressful to go up a ramp. See, he loses his ghost now because he doesn't have high ground vision just yet. Oh, this army is so marine heavy. He's got so many marines in here. The Colossi are going to make quick work of those 48 in total. A storm goes down on the medevacs here and hits the second wave of units as well.
Flying has way too much army supply here, and those storms are good. The Protoss player is charging in with the Zealots. The Colossus in the back is dishing out his area of effect damage. Alive is dropping in supply, and Flying advances to round number 2 of Code A.
Yeah, looking pretty good. Nice late game play there, hitting his upgrades nicely, and a really unique style of going heavy on the armor upgrades without attacking, just using it defensively on a big map.
And there we have it. Alive is in Code B, whereas Flying advances to the second round of Code A. And now we have a last match of the day with the Protoss versus Protoss that we are going to cast for you in a short while. We have a 5-minute break, and then we are back here at the GSL Code A with Yonghwa up against